Wow, thank you. Got a couple of things. I was in the hot seat here earlier this year with you, and we were talking about that I had met someone, and you said that it was a little like looking at love in all the wrong places, and it certainly was. It was quite a big surprise to me. So my question to you is,
so often, you all are in a hurry to get to the manifestation, and we get that. Esther's been saying recently that she really enjoys thought, and she really enjoys alignment, and she really likes meditation, and she so enjoys focus wheels, and she likes tuning in. She loves all of that, but she likes manifestations the best. She just can't help it. She just likes the manifestations the best. And that's why you all came. You came for all of it. The manifestation is the part that you want. And so you want to skip to the manifestation. But if you skip to the manifestation before you've done the vortexual work, if you skip to the manifestation before your vibration is really in alignment with what you want, then when the manifestation comes, it is not pleasing. And then we're going to use very specific thoughts so that Esther will find very specific words. Then you have to overcome your manifestations. In other words, it's sort of like digging yourself out of the hole.
yes.
And so, don't do that.
Okay.
Next.
Well, you pretty much answered that one for me then.
The other thing, we may have said this to you before, but we're going to say it to you again. It makes this point in the strongest way. A woman said to us, Abraham, my son is looking for a mate. Will you help him find her? And we said, no. Why not? Because we don't think this is a good time. Why not? Because if he finds one now, she'll match his vibration.
Oh, yeah.
And if she matches his vibration, she won't be matching his true desire. His true desire and his now point of attraction are in different places. So say to the universe, take your time, wait till I'm ready. Which is what we were really saying. You hardly ever say that, do you? You don't say, take your time and wait till I'm ready to be a match to what I want. Instead you say, give it to me now and I'll adjust. That's what you say. Or give me what I want now and then that will be the reason that I feel better. That's backwards. You got to be or feel what you want to experience. Once you accomplish that, then manifestation. Boom, 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 boom. Then it happens quickly.
Well, that sort of steps in line to the next question, which was,
I've
been unemployed for a year, and I've been trying to focus on how to
But still,
vibrate.
Would you acknowledge that the majority of your thoughts are on what's missing rather than on what's coming?
Yes, but I've spent a whole year trying to shift that.
Well, maybe it would be better for you to get off the subject. Completely off the subject.
Okay.
Because when you're fixated on something that feels stuck to you, and then you try harder, all you do is amplify the way you're already feeling. So focus on something that's working or on something else that's easier. And take note of how cooperative the universe is when you get on those other subjects. And then all of a sudden, with that lighter feeling that you're going to accomplish by not trying so hard, the unfolding will happen and you'll know it. You'll recognize it. You won't be wondering about it. You'll say, oh yeah, I recognize you. I recognize you. I've been feeling you. You've been in the background while I've been doing a lot of other things. It's a sort of human tendency. You've been taught that you have to try really hard to make things happen. But every subject is two subjects, and what is wanted on one end of the stick and the absence of it is on the other. And so often when what you want isn't happening and you try hard, you're focusing on the absence of what you want. So in your trying, that's why you call it a struggle. It feels like that. In your trying, you practice vibrations that oppose your true desire. You keep momentum going in opposition to what you want. And don't you know it, as you visit with people who want different things, can't you tell with very short conversations with them how they feel about where they are? This is the message from this, and we've been talking about it already here today. When what is happening right now has the majority of your attention, it cannot vary much from that. Because if what you're looking at is the reason that you're offering the vibration that you're offering, and then the vibration that you offer is the reason that you're getting back what you're getting, and what you're looking at is causing you to offer a vibration, and the vibration that you're offering is giving it back to you, nothing changes. Different places, different faces, but same experience. So the key is you gotta find a way to change the feeling. The feeling has to change. And the feeling won't change until the thoughts do. That's how you know. So if you keep feeling lonely, or if you keep feeling discouraged, or if you keep feeling like it's taking too long, and that's really the dominant feeling that you had. Those were your opening words to us. I was here a year ago, and this was what I asked a year ago, and it's no better now. I'm not getting any better results now than I was a year ago. And then we say, that's because you're feeling the same way now that you were feeling a year ago. And so sometimes we know you want us to look into your crystal ball vortex and say, oh yeah, somebody's in there. We'd never do that, right? When you're on the brink, we'll look closer. But in the meantime, you got to be satisfied where you are and eager for more. But if there's dissatisfaction where you are, you can't get what you want. You got to be satisfied with what is. And so some people, that frightens them. Say, you want me to be satisfied with the absence of my money, or the absence of my mate, or the absence of a job that's real? You want me to be satisfied with that? Well, that seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? But you've got to be satisfied. Otherwise, you can't get tuned in. Dissatisfaction will keep you out of the receiving mode. And when you're not in the receiving mode, you'll turn right instead of left, and you'll miss a contact. When you're not in the receiving mode, you won't even feel like going there that night, and you won't hook up. You gotta be in vibrational alignment with the messages that are being offered constantly. You say, clues. Not to tease you. Let's clarify this. Your inner being is never teasing you. Oh, we want so much for you to hear this. So, your inner being knows exactly where you are in relationship to everything that you want. Just try to accept that with us for just a moment. And your inner being is calling you constantly, never-endingly, on a path of least resistance toward what you are asking for. Your inner being is always calling you to what your inner being knows you want, but you're hearing it from where you are. That's really key. So, if you're in a place that's full of resistance and your inner being is calling you, sometimes it feels like a struggle when you go, because you can only hear it from where you are. As you get off the subject and you focus upon other things that are easy for you to feel good about, now you're going to hear your inner being calling you about one subject from a place that's in a different vibrational frequency. Does that make sense to you? We'll be more clear. So let's say on the subject of relationships, your frequency is lower and slower, and your inner being's calling you from up here. So it's a very faint call that you're hearing. You're hardly even hearing it. You're not even sure that you're hearing it. Your impulses and intuition aren't working out very well for you. You're not hearing it. And you think, well, I'll just think about this more and more. And the more you think about it, the more lonely you get. And the more you think about it, the more I'm not being a very good deliberate creator you feel. And the more you think about it and the more you take score of where you are, the more you think you must be doing something wrong or you must be missing something. All that's happening is that your now reality is dominating your vibrational frequency on that subject. So here you are, your inner being's calling you toward this relationship, but you can't hear it because of where you are. So then you decide to just let that go for a while. You decide to focus on your work, which is easy for you to feel like this. Or you decide to focus upon the beautiful day. And it's easy for you to be there. So you're focusing consistently, not just in a spattering way. You're focusing consistently on things that are causing you to feel better. And now your inner being's still calling you about your relationship, but now you're up there where you can hear it. Oh. So you got that, didn't you? Just get happy and you'll hear. And the results will please you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I understand that.
Yes.
But I've got one more question.
Yeah.
One more. This one's a totally different type of question. Many years ago, I was reading the Seth books.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get a clarification if I understood it right, but it's all about the
All right.
multidimensional.
Now you see how perfect that was? because what's being projected by Seth or Abraham or any non-physical energies and what you're hearing is about your perception more than it is about what they're saying.
Right.
That's why we would prefer it if you would all tap into your own guidance and not depend on Esther for your translation.
It's regarding the multidimensional selves. Some really wonderful, the most powerful books that I read from Seth was The Education of Oversoul 7. It was a trilogy book, which I highly recommend people read. But it was really profound for me because in the books, it's about Oversoul and his lives in the past, in the present, and in the future, but it's all happening in the now. And when one of the lives has some sort of profound, shift, it seems to vibrate across all of them all at the same time. And I don't know if you could talk about that. I thought it was interesting.
We're going to be very brief about this because it would take a long time to bring everybody up to speed with what that basis of presentation is. But here's the way we would describe that, and you're going to understand this easily. So when we said, you're here in this body, but the larger part of you is still non-physically focused. That's a part of that. And that non-physical part of you, who has lived all that you've lived, is having a relationship with you now. Now, that non-physical part of you, who has lived all that you've lived, and stands as the culminating knowledge of all that you've lived, just hear that in what you just said. And then think about this vortex, which is the future experience that you will manifest that your inner being is already understanding. So that's the way we're describing it to you here. We want you to know that your inner being knows everything that you've lived, but we're going to put this very powerful statement right in the middle of what you're thinking, and it's going to change the way you perceived that. Your inner being who stands in your vortex and who is the culmination of all that you've lived and is reaching forward with you into more, never looks back. Never looks back. And when you do, it's almost a certain thing that you're going to cause some separation's too strong of word, because your inner being is always looking from where you are to what's coming next. When you have become the culmination of all that you've lived, you don't have to go back and think about what you lived before any more than you stand now in your 20-year-old body or 30 or 40 or your body. And you do not try very hard to recapture the way you felt when you were 2. You just can't stand in your now and accurately perceive the age that you once were, or even the experiences that you once lived. And when you try, there's a whole lot of regurgitation that goes on with all of you as you try, and all you end up doing usually is messing up the now vibration that could be so much clearer and so much cleaner and so much free flowing toward what your vortex is calling you to. Was that helpful? This is a really good time.